So I've been on a bit of a journey for over a decade now, shaping and riding double hot curls. And I just wanted to talk about how I arrived at my latest one, which is this one here. I'll show you how I got here. So a couple of years ago, I was in the need of some surgery. And prior to the surgery, I was told to only ride small, easy waves. So I happened to have made this kind of a mini Simmons version of a double hot curl prior to that. So basically, I had to go for long walks to find some small, fun waves. And this board was just absolutely perfect for it. Generates lots of speed and it's nice and free and loose to surf. But since I've had the surgery, I haven't really been able to get back on it. So I knew I wanted to tap into some of the stuff that this board had, but I needed a bit more paddle power. And I was kind of thinking 6'4" would be nice, but then I was thinking, well, realistically, 6'8" is probably going to be more practical for recovering. I had been riding this one here, which is a 7.0, and it became my most advanced kind of favourite out of all the double hot curls I've had. And what was different about this one is I incorporated an edge bottom in it and I made it asymmetrical. And those two features is why I liked it so much. So this kind of became the blueprint for going forward. So I've made some various different lengths boards based on this blueprint with the edge bottom and the asymmetric tail. This one's got a 3-inch offset in the tail. So the heel side is 3 inches shorter. So forehand cutbacks, backhand bottom turns, less sticky basically. So using that blueprint and incorporating the edge bottom and the asymmetric feature in the tail, I made this 8.8. And what the other thing I did with this one is I introduced a side cut rail in the outline, and that influence came from Michael Mackey. So I've been riding this board for over a year, and it's got some real cool sensations when you're riding it because of that side cut. I've got other 8.8s without the side cut, so I'm able to really dig into what's different about having a side cut. So when it came time to make a new board, it had to be a side cut. I knew that. So this board played quite a role in what I did next. And so re-enter the latest one, which if you think back to that first board I pulled out, I wanted to go short, but I felt I just needed a little bit more length. Couldn't make up my mind between 6.4 and 6.8, but I kind of thought, oh, if I make it 6.8, I'll catch more waves, I'll get into them earlier, and I'll tend to get, I think, more bang for the buck. But when it came to making up my mind about the asymmetric in the tail, I decided, well, I know 3 inches works fine as an offset. Why don't I just go 4 inches on this one and see if I can learn a little bit more about that? So I actually ended up with a 6.8 on my forehand rail and a 6.4 on my backhand rail. So funnily enough, I ended up with both the lengths that I was having trouble making up my mind over. This one's also got the edge bottom, and what I did on this one is I was so intrigued with the side cut on the green 8.8, I wanted to actually try a much deeper side cut and really dig into that side cut feel. So this board, I mean, it really has got quite, if you look at that plan shape, it's got quite a deep side cut in there. So I pretty much went all out to get to the bottom of the side cut in a shorter board. And there was two other things I did, is if you look at this, because of the edge bottom, this plane here is actually concaving down into the board on an angle, and not very far away from that is a very steep V here on that forms your sort of hot curl tail. So to get from here to here, there's quite a steep sudden transition, and it's quite a tricky one to shape. And I decided on this one to actually use a concave to join these two, to transition from one contour to the other. And the other thing I did is I reworked this whole concave in the bottom. So the whole bottom is concave from here off the nose. But what I've done is I've pulled it right up into that edge bottom and made it a real lip. So it's an edge from this way, but it's also an edge from this way. So it's like a real lip all the way around. And those three things have given me a board that's very fluid, like the original 6.0 that I was chasing, the feeling of. It feels very, very fluid, free and easy. And it's partly, I think, this concave transition, just keeping everything nice and quick and crisp. This concave, and then the side cut, when you turn to go on rail, it just goes straight on rail. That's the thing that I can feel. So this has become the new favourite and the new blueprint going forward.